Hey, Cosette, how are you? If you can't talk, don't worry about it. Just saying hi. Do, 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 do. I'll be right back. Murad, what's up, my brother?
Hi, Robby. How you doing?
Doing
Hi,
great.
Cassette.
Great.
Hi. Hello, happy fabulous individuals. How are you?
Is that Sheila?
It is.
Hey, Sheila. How you doing?
I'm fabulous. How are all of you?
Fantastic. Fantastic. Now,
I'm gonna
Sheila,
make.
tell me,
Oh, sorry.
where are you
I'll be
from?
back.
I know you were in San Diego.
Oh, I was in San Diego and I reside in Tucson, Arizona.
So I saw the pictures today with Michael and fantastic. Great, great, great.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it was a rare treat to have somebody from the East Coast. We're just getting going here in Tucson, and it was really beautiful to have him. So who's coming next?
I love it.
Thank you. How are you guys? Cosette, Murad, how are you?
Doing well. Doing very well.
Good, good, good.
You probably don't remember, but I actually met you in Nashville. I was in San Diego, but I met you in Nashville and sat and ate lunch with you one day. Yep.
I feel awful, but yes, yay! Hi, Cosette.
I think we briefly talked about our kids. I talked about Gabe a little because I was there.
Oh,
Right?
Gabe. Sorry. Yes, I remember your son now.
Right.
It's the hat that's throwing me off, probably.
No, I wear hats the whole time I'm at the
The
retreat.
whole time? Okay.
Because then I don't have to do my hair. What's the point, right?
Yes, yes, yes. But yeah, it's been quite a whirlwind. My first event was in October with Dallas, then Nashville, manifested getting into Nashville. Then
okay.
At the AFU, I learned about walk-ons. So I was like, oh, I'm going to Cancun. I got the hotel, I got a flight. I was like, what's the worst that can happen? I'm in paradise,
You're
you know?
okay,
So,
right?
yeah, and then Cartagena. So it's
one after another.
yes.
The energy is off the charts there, that's why I decided to, hopefully, I signed up for the cancellation list, to be an add-on, walk on.
Nashville?
Yeah.
Oh, just go. Just go. Just there's nothing to
Easier
worry
said
about.
than done.
I promise.
Easier said
I'll
than
meet
done.
you where I met you.
What?
I said I'll meet you where I met you by Starbucks.
There you go. Yeah, by Starbucks. Exactly. So hopefully I see the potential of it all happening. So I'm sure it'll be within the next couple of weeks because everybody has their 30-day cutoff, which is the 17th. So
What is what's the date of Nashville? April what?
17th.
Is it? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Woo! Murad, are you going to Nashville?
No, but I'm going to the Denver AFU.
Are you? Okay, yeah, I'm on the wait list.
Oh, yeah.
You are? My God, Sheila. Fantastic.
Gabe's going too. My son's going.
Really?
Yeah.
Denver.
Wow.
See, Cosette, I'm on the wait list for that, but I already know I'm going.
Yeah, you are.
For Denver?
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice.
We're going, man. We're just,
That's awesome.
Energies with the
All in.
Yeah, all in, baby.
The party is already started. We haven't even landed, and the party has started.
Yeah, it hasn't even. Yeah, it's like we're getting ready for the party that hasn't even started. Oh man, this is insane. Yeah,
We are the party.
That's what I'm saying. Like this is the energy. We are the beginning. We are building the biggest party ever right now. It's like the beginning stages of it.
Robby, this stuff is so crazy that I suddenly got $130,000 thing that just showed up 3 days ago. And
okay, well, we're going to talk about it now, but we're going to talk more about this.
No. We'll talk about it another day.
Yeah,
Today is Jim's day. Let's.
No, we got 5 minutes. we got until Jim shows up. What happened?
Yeah, no, but this stuff is crazy when you hold this, this future self, if you will, and you just hold it and you tune in. Every hour I have my alarm set for every hour to ping me and I go into hardcore runs every hour. But now it's happening every 10 minutes, every 15 minutes. The mantra is going on automatically. I wake up and the mantra is going on. So I had lost an account. Say hi to Jim. Jim's on.
No. Jim, what's up, my brother? So you lost an account. Something came back. We're going to pick up back up on that.
We'll pick it up later. Take care, Jim.
Let's go.
Hi,
Let's
Thor.
go. Murad, thank you for sharing that. What energy to pick up for tonight from the main man, Jim Fairchild.
Hello, my friends.
Hello. Looking like
Hello.
How are you guys?
good.
Doing
Better
well.
now that you're here.
Excellent.
Yeah, man.
I'm very jealous that Michael got to come hang out with you this weekend, Sheila.
You should be.
Yeah, time out.
What a lucky dog. He called me right before he got to your place. Or right before he got to the hotel, actually. So I got to hear about your adventure in progress.
Yeah, there's so much going on right now where I can't believe that literally, I just found out about that like 4 hours ago, or not. I didn't find out about it. I saw the photos 4 hours ago. That is what it's all about, man. That is what it's all about. That looks so fun. That looks so, you guys, like the energy, and then carrying that energy from those photos into this with Jim's conversation. It's all related. It's all connected. And then what just Murad just said that we're going to talk about tomorrow.
Yes.
Energy's real. Lilo, what's going on? Pat, hello. Jim, I'm excited, brother. I'm excited.
So am I.
I am.
This is cool.
It is. It's just,
Hey, Robby.
Hey,
I wanted to, hey,
What's
my friend Julie, I just talked to her like a second ago because I was on a different call and she said, what's that group you're talking about that they were talking about groups and whether they were worth it or not. And I went, well, I have an amazing group that I'm and it's so cool. And nobody said anything. And then Julie asked me if she could come, and it would be Morning Warriors. So I don't have any information about that, but I gave her the link to come here. So when you see Julie, that's who I'm talking. There she is.
Julie Valen.
Yeah.
Julie, Lila was just talking so horribly about you if you heard anything.
She's my friend.
For sharing that.
I'm pretty sure nobody who knows Layla would entertain that for a moment.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
They would know how sarcastic
A todos, ¿qué?
Oh, Julie. Hey, Nicole. Hello, Alexandra.
Hi. Vaya bien.
What up? Julie, just so you know, I'm going to reach out to you
Mira.
after the call, just separately.
Chao, saludos.
Thank you.
About the call.
Appreciate that.
So
Thank
maybe
you
she
so
can
much.
join you guys tomorrow in the morning.
Yeah, that's why I'll send the link.
Okay.
Lila, you're the best. I love you. Your energy is amazing.
You get me.
Appreciate
See,
that.
that's
Thank
the
you,
thing.
Leila.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't notice I wasn't.
you.
Hello, everyone. I'm
Hey.
sorry.
Oh, don't worry, but you're not the only one. We're all conversing. It's that part of the show. It's that part of the transition of the show.
I'm sorry. I was speaking. I don't know if you pick up everything that I said.
No, we didn't. I didn't. I was talking at the same time, so it was all good. It's recorded though. I'll clip it out just for you. Just for you.
Just talking to my brother.
I'll make a song out of it. How about that? Pat, what's up, brother? I can't remember if I said that. Christy, how are you?
up? What's up?
What up, Linda? Good to see you. Yeah,
Hi, everybody.
so we got a lot of Niagara Falls alums, and for today's guest, who's Jim, an alum of Niagara as well. So excited. I love it. Jim was I was Jim's guest, and now I wouldn't even say my guest, but he's the guest of tonight's call, which is really cool. So cool. Let's see.
We're all guests together, right?
Exactly, man. This is just everything we're doing. Like we had 4 people on the call earlier, like 2 minutes ago. And just everything, the conversations that were happening, everything's connected. It's all, everything that we're doing is so relative. The energy, like Sheila was just in it was in Sedona, I think, with Michael, and it's just the energy.
You did
Michael
that.
got snowed out of Sedona. He wanted to bicycle ride.
Yes.
He's like, oh, I'm gonna bicycle ride. I'm like, oh, I'll go with you. I'll pump up my tires. He goes, yeah, I do like, and he told me, I'm like, ooh, No, have fun. I'll meet you for dinner afterwards.
Well, Michael's a bike rider. Yeah, he's not like a, hey, you want to go around the block and like look at the
No, no. So he came down to Tucson so he could actually ride because there's so much snow in Sedona. He couldn't.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. So, but that's so great. You guys got to hang out. I talked, so we're gonna get started around in between 9:05, 9:07. We're gonna get the, picks up usually, or, people continually to go in. Chuck, what's up?
Robby.
Maggie, who said my name? Who
Well,
that?
hi, it's
Hi,
Chuck.
Robby.
Chuck, what's up, Chuck?
Hey, question.
Yes.
Do you have the passcode for the meeting?
I'll just text you the entire link. If
Because
you're having an
I'm
issue.
trying to log into the computer and I don't have the password for it.
Yeah, I'll send you, right now, I'm gonna send you the entire thing. So that-
Okay.
Like how I normally do. See, yeah, I tried to abbreviate this time. I'm gonna send it to you on WhatsApp, all right?
Yeah, it's fine.
Cool, you got it, man.
All right.
All
Let
right,
me-
what was I saying? I was looking at so I was talking to Cosette earlier today. And she showed me the cutest picture of a baby deer that she's feeding. It was the cutest thing I've ever seen. What was the baby's deer name? Baby?
Baby.
Baby, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was freaking adorable, man. The eyes of a baby deer are like the most innocent things ever.
They are.
Blink,
I
blink.
can't help myself. I know I shouldn't, but I can't help myself.
Yeah. It's adorable. Yeah. So, sorry.
No, I just was gonna ask Maggie if she could put her camera the other way.
Okay, yes, I will. I have a
Because
microphone.
I'm like,
so-
mole.
No, the other
Hey.
way, upside down.
Yes.
Thank you.
Look like a bat.
Yeah. No.
Hello, Maggie. Heidi, what's up? Okay, guys. Yeah, we're gonna wait a couple more minutes. Got Big Jim as the guest today. So excited for this. Just the journey. Of what
Tracy.
we're of the journey of what we're doing. Hey, Tracy, how are you?
Great.
Amanda, nice to see you. Ilka, Arsa. Oh, I'm so excited. So Cape Cod. Oh my God. I was on the beach. I was so excited because how cold it was and how much I was like, oh my God, I do not want to go in that water. And it's about to happen. Yeah, I love how much I don't want to do it.
Hey, Robby, how cold is the water? Do you know?
I haven't even had a chance to put my finger in it.
Oh, you gotta check.
Yeah, because
I
like
wanna
I always have my shoot. So here's a side note, funny story is that I brought everything. Like I packed to go to Cape Cod for like the next 2 months. So the first day I got here, it snowed like 5 inches. So I couldn't do anything for like 2 days because I forgot my snow boots and my shoes are like, they're hard. They're like aqua socks with like, rubber on the bottom. So I felt so bad for my dog. But what was the point of me saying that? I don't know. It related to something.
You wanted to test the water temperature,
Yeah.
how cold it is.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm not doing it. I'm gonna jump in. That's the whole idea.
It's like bath water. We're gonna love it.
It's gonna be great. In that moment, I'm gonna sit in there. I challenge somebody to try to sit in there longer than me. That's the whole. Let's go. It's that moment. I'm gonna go all in. Let's go. Yeah, that's.
Tracy would win if she was actually going because she's got one of those cold tubs, and her and her husband go like in it every morning.
I'm not challenging anyone
Wow.
that does that. Definitely. Not. I'm challenging someone.
3
who doesn't
minutes
wanna
is my
do it.
max. 3 minutes.
Hey,
is
oh,
my max.
cool.
But because I read that if you're new to it, it's not good to stay in longer than 3 minutes just because your
Okay.
body hasn't regulated.
Got it. Okay. And awesome shout out. And on the polar plunge note, shout out to Christy, who's on the call now. She's going to be doing a breath work to make sure that our bodies are as ready as they can be, and as make sure that we get the most out of it. So shout out to
Yes, I love
Always
cold
be
plunge and
the
breath work,
best.
you guys. It's gonna be good.
Christy. Surrender to
Yeah,
Christy.
If
Breath
I do it, I'll be only 3 seconds.
3 seconds.
Keep
Oh,
you
that's
in
gonna be the
longer.
rule. The 31. It's going to be 31 seconds at the least. Right now, I just so maybe 31 minutes. No.
Christy, what would
Yes.
happen if you go there without breathing beforehand?
Well-
Because I did that the other day. I just jumped into the ocean. So
Good.
Well,
Oh,
I mean, I cold plunge almost every day, and in my bathtub I do ice baths, and I got to a point
Oh
where
my
I
gosh.
don't have to breathe anymore to go in it because I'm so used to it. So
yeah, exactly. So
the
what-
breath work helps you reduce the pain that you're going to feel, because I mean it's just our minds telling us, oh, this is painful, but you're completely safe. So like when I went to the Wim Hof retreat last summer, he even like tells us, you know, look at the ice and just say thank you, ice, for this medicine you're giving me. Like you really want to build this relationship and tell your body you're safe, there's nothing happening, it's just your vascular system working, pumping, your immune system's building, you're building brown fat cells. Like there's so much happening. So you just want to keep telling your mind all these great things that are happening so that you don't, you know, get scared and freak. Because some people did get out. We did it for 8 minutes the first round, and then we did 12, and then we did 15. And you, when you're with a group of people, you guys, that's what I was telling Robby. I was trying to understand how they're going to do it. And he says they're probably going to do it one by one. But I was saying, you know, there's so much power in going in as a group. You all hold hands, you get in, you sit in it, and you stay. And you want to stay for at least 2 minutes because that gives you the physical benefits. But you really want to push for at least 5 to 7 because that's when the mind, you want to work the mind, you want to get past all that resistance and the mind telling you, get out, and you want to keep pushing, and people will be screaming and emotions are releasing and you're just chanting. And
I have a good idea. I have a good idea.
Anyway.
Sorry. Thank you for that.
Yeah, that's all. We'll talk later.
Okay.
No, thank you for all that information. You just packed a lot of information. One more minute, we're gonna stop. By the way. One more minute.
Yeah.
Maybe if you have like 5 minutes to maybe kind of say what you were saying, less rushed. Because we'll do the breath work Friday. We'll talk about it another time instead of Wednesday now, or whatever. Yeah, Friday instead of Wednesday, just so everybody knows. So, but maybe we can talk about it prior to that for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. Thank you. You're the greatest. Let's go.
Yeah, we'll have fun.
I might
Let's
go in
go,
the water right after this after all. What you just said. Seriously. All right, so we're gonna get started in about 30 seconds. We still have people actually coming in, so I just want to make sure that, I mean, yeah, because might as well wait a couple more minutes. F it, right? Jim, what do you think? We'll wait a couple minutes?
Yeah, let's wait a couple minutes.
Yeah, why not? So Kathy, what's up? Let's see, who else do I see? Gillian. Lauren, what's up? I love seeing everyone. I love seeing Lauren. I love seeing everyone. Hi, Ruth. Gina, how you doing? I love seeing everybody. This is so great. Nicole, I think I said hello, Nicole, but I don't know.
Yes.
I did. Okay. Well, hello.
Okay.
Oh, I was playing around with this stuff. So since we're waiting, I work in Captiva, which is like one of the shell capitals of the world. Look at these shells that I find on the beach, like just regular days.
Oh my God, I love
So
Right?
pretty.
stones.
Right?
and
Look at this
stuff.
shit. So like I don't look at the shells, like I look at them like where do they come from? Who made these? Like this doesn't make sense to me. Like this is so perfect and there's so many of these in the water. I'm like, where do these come from? I'm gonna get to the bottom of that because
Fibonacci sequence.
It is Fibonacci. It's just
That
gonna
spiral right
say
there
it.
has lots of information, Robbie.
seriously, right? It's like
Totally.
it's like someone just like dropped it. Like we're in someone's fish tank. Like there's no
I've
logic.
seen
to
that
When there's
pattern
no
1,000
logic-
times.
Like this is freaking perfect. It's like crop circle stuff, like it doesn't make any sense. So when it doesn't make sense, you ask questions.
And then like this, I found this in Cancun.
Ooh, cool. That's the coral stuff. Let me see. Oh, I can't get there. I got all the little screens up. I can't move. Oh, very cool. Yeah, that's
Yeah. And
Jamaica.
was-
You're going to see a lot of that.
I was doing a walking meditation. And what do you think I thought? The brain.
Brain. Yeah, brain.
Oh,
Oh my gosh.
Geeked out so hard because it's like completely just pristine. I actually have 2 of them, but
Let's go.
I asked Mama Gaia if it was okay.
Ilka just said, "Love you, Thor. Information is power." From Sheila.
love you, Ocean.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that Thor stuff a little bit too, or you're gonna get into it most likely. Yeah, we're gonna hear the power of Thor tonight, baby. Let's go. All right. Okay. Are you ready? You want to get ready to roll? You good to
Let's
go?
roll.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, I gotta get a theme music or something like that. Some music going on or something like that. Well, thank you for everybody joining. This is our Sunday collective conversation that we have between the Morning Warriors and the Dot Connectors. We are one that we meet up here once a week. We also have some guests from the hosts as well as people within our family. So thanks for joining us. We do this every Sunday, and we have a guest, and we pretty much give someone a platform just to share their story. And this week's guest is none other than Thor, Jim Fairchild, one of our Dot Connecting Morning Warriors. So thank you. Yeah.
Hey, Jim.
Right. Yeah, I'm so excited for this.
Thank you. Kate.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna say one thing and then just hand the ball to you, Jim. And then as you said, you could talk forever. So I'll just make sure we don't talk forever. We'll keep it within
reasonable amount
before 2 a.m. That's at least before.
Hey, Robby, just real quick. Angela's saying she can't get in.
Angela. Okay, where are we at?
I don't know if you want to put the link.
Oh wait, I see Angela's face right there. Lower.
I got in.
Oh,
I just couldn't get,
Gina,
I
more
just
a
couldn't get
warrior.
it.
Look at that. Teamwork, baby.
I just couldn't get in on the computer. I had to come in on my phone to tap it. Cause anyway, I got in.
All right, cool
Hello.
stuff. Hi, Angela. Yeah, sorry. I tried to. Oh, hey, look, there's 31 people in here right now, Jim. Let's
Nice.
go.
I think that means it's time to roll, baby. It's time to roll.
All right.
That was probably me. You're welcome.
Perfect timing. All right. So, all right. You know what? All right. So I'm going to mute everybody now. Okay. Excuse me. And then Jim, I'll unmute you when you go. So I met Jim in Cancun, which is great. I didn't meet him in Niagara, but I paid a lot of attention to him. And I think I have a feeling the reason why I paid a lot of attention to him, we might even touch upon, because he does talk about how he is a magnet of energy. We both talk about how we have that a lot in common. But I paid a lot of attention to Jim, and I saw his face and just noticed the progress of his face throughout the whole time. Every time I looked at him in Niagara, and then the first second I saw him in Cancun, I made sure I introduced myself to him. He's just such a ball of amazing energy. He's such a great guy. So, all right. So every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, Jim never misses a day. And if he did, it'd be completely fine. But just stating the fact that he never misses a day. Jim ends the Dot Connectors meditation call with a thought out, impactful, and very relevant quote that somehow involves itself within our lives, as well as Kathy. They choose these quotes. They're not just like random. These things are very thought out and impactful. So tonight, instead of ending the call, I'm going to start the call with a quote, a very thought out, impactful, and relevant quote of the night, instead of a quote of the morning. I'm going to start the show with that. And it's a quote from my brother right here, Jim. So it's going to roll into what he's saying. I won't even say I stole it, but he used it in the intro of our podcast, but it's kind of perfect. I thought it was fitting for many reasons, mostly because Jim is talking to and about all of us that are on this call. Jim, I just want to, I trust actually that you realize how much of an inspiration you are to everyone on this, not only everybody on this call, but every single person that's lucky enough to cross your path.
Thank you.
Seriously.
I appreciate that. That
is hands down. Like right now, me, I'm lit up because of you right now, man. So, on to the quote. We all have talents, our own superpowers that we share to connect dots within our lives. We are family, holding hands and walking each other home. There is a natural trust that allows vulnerability, which is where the magic of change exists. Jim, let's create some magic. On to you, my brother.
I've never had it actually been quoted before, so that's kind of cool.
That was quote worthy.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
I get those. Yeah. Yeah. That's when ideas are flowing and just coming out of me, which is the way good things happen. I am excited to be here. I'm excited to tell my story. And I'll tell you that probably a year ago, I wouldn't have been able to do this. I wouldn't have been able to do it this way. And so this is a real blessing for me to be able to talk like this and not have anxiety or be worried about it. So I'm looking forward to this. And so here we go. What I'm going to talk about is how my podcast journey has kind of paralleled my healing journey and all the ups and downs that I've gone through with both of those. My background is in broadcast journalism. I graduated from Colorado State in 1993, and I was going to be a news broadcaster. And then I'm thankful that I realized that the news is very depressing before I got into it, and I decided not to get into that, which I'm very thankful for. Instead, I used my degree to get into sports entertainment. I worked for the Colorado Rockies, the Denver Broncos, the University of Colorado, and I did everything, me and my team did everything that you saw and heard during games, up on the Jumbotron, all the audio you heard, the PA announcer, my department was in charge of all that. That was early 2000s, about 2000 to 2004. Take a step back to 1998, and doctors told me that I have multiple sclerosis. I was working and my right hand went numb. My right pinky went numb, actually. Then it turned into my right hand, then I couldn't use my mouse anymore. And so you're just wondering what the heck is going on. So went in and got the MRIs, got all the tests done, was told that I have MS, and that just changes everything. I mean, the diagnosis process, what I know now is how emotional it is and how it just changes your thought process about who you are. I look at the diagnosis process now, I'm like, it needs to be something different, because it changes us emotionally. And so that was in 1998. And then stepping forward to 2014, my career that I really enjoyed was shortened. Working in sports is a very demanding job, very stressful, very time demanding. I mean, the Colorado Rockies alone had 82 games a year, or 82 home games a year. So that's a lot of work. Because of that, I wasn't able to keep up in the corporate world. And we moved from Colorado to Portland in 2007. And then we started our own coffee catering business. So I went from being a broadcaster to, being in the sports world, to selling coffee and being an entrepreneur. Again, very stressful. Starting a business is always stressful. By then, I had gotten very involved with the MS Society, the National MS Society. I did all the walks, I did all the bike rides, I did the fundraising, I went to support groups, and really got involved with I'll say it this way, my identity was very wrapped up in MS. And I think that's what happens when I was thankful for that process, but it also wasn't me at the same time. I was very involved with the society, so involved that I got in 2018, actually. You guys can see this. I was part of a national ad campaign. This is me in my wheelchair. And this says, MS sat me down. I will dance at my daughter's weddings. And then it says in there that I'm a dad and a podcaster. So my podcast was my identity that kind of became an anchor for me as I was moving through my healing process. In 2014 is when the director of marketing for the Oregon chapter of the MS Society, he and I became really good friends. And so he offered one day to do a podcast. He's like, Jim, we ought to do a podcast together. So I thought he was going to interview me. He came over to my house and we were going to have a conversation. And I thought we were going to do an interview. And then he said, I think you ought to do a podcast, Jim. Mm-hmm. And to be honest, I didn't even know what a podcast was at that time. I had to look it up before I even knew what it was. And when he said that, I was going through a lot of physical changes. I had, in the business world that I was in, I had lost a lot of my abilities. I wasn't able to keep up in the corporate world. I was having a hard time keeping up being an entrepreneur. And when he offered a podcast to me, I'm like, there's no way I can do that. I don't have the brain power to do that. It was immediate fear. And, part of MS is losing cognitive abilities. It's losing muscle strength. It's we would call it our new normal all the time. You're always going through a change. You're always changing something, feeling different, having to deal with something new. Even though I didn't know what a podcast was, there's a voice in the back of my head that said, you know, you need to do this. And my background was perfect for this. You know, I'd done a lot of voiceover work. I've done this, and I love interviewing people. So it kind of fit in, which was great for me because it was something that I could look forward to. My first 22 episodes were about MS. I was like I said, very involved with the MS Society. So I was in a support group out here. So I was interviewing my friends that were in the group. And it's all about MS. It was about the trials and tribulations of MS. And looking back, it seems like an absolute different world to me now with the way who I am now compared to who I was then. And of course, you know, we just don't know what we don't know until we know, you know? So,
you know,
something didn't feel right, you know, and I just didn't know what didn't feel right. In 2016, I went through my paradigm shift. That's when I went through a spiritual awakening, realized that I am spirit in this human body, and realizing I wasn't being true to myself. I wasn't being me. And so in 2016, I changed my marriage. I changed all my friendships. I decided to get divorced, which was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Leaving my daughters, my 2 girls, was the hardest thing I've ever decided to do. And at the same time, I knew I needed to do it. My physical side, I had gone from being able to walk to being behind a walker at that time. So in 2016, I moved into an apartment by myself behind a walker, really not knowing how the hell I was going to do what I needed to do to get where I needed to go. I just knew I needed to make a change. In this apartment here, I have had many, many dark nights of the soul, and a lot of learning of who I am. I was addicted to Abraham Hicks when I moved in here. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know the spiritual side. I had a life coach at that time who was helping me through this. But what I knew was in my gut, something needed to change. And so this is what needed to happen in moving into my apartment. I had completed a couple podcasts after I moved, and still not completely finding my voice. It didn't quite feel right yet. In 2019, the spring of 2019, I found Dr. Joe and dove in full bore. Found him on YouTube and couldn't get enough. It kind of blew me away, and it was my mental capacity at that time was different than it is now. And I was just soaking everything up. It was life-changing, just as we know, life-changing. I found him in the spring of 2019, and in December of 2019, I challenged myself to go to my first retreat in Cancun. So I went, I was in a wheelchair at that time. I'd gotten in a wheelchair in 2017. And I flew by myself for the first time, not really being able to transfer. Getting to Dr. Joe, and the very first day was a challenge exercise. And I'd flown, I was tired. And that next day was a challenge exercise. And I really wanted to walk. I thought I was going to be climbing the stairs and getting, or the ladder to get up on the challenge exercise. And that didn't happen. So my point in that is that I was just so different back then. My thoughts and emotions were in a pattern. And as I look back over this course, I can notice the patterns of my life now and see how I would sabotage myself. And I was so addicted to the chemicals of stress that things would happen over and over again. So I was just beginning to notice those patterns and figure those things out. In Cancun, I was in a room by myself, but I was never alone because I had so many voices in my head that there were so many different things bouncing around that it was scary at times. It was dark, and I felt great around the people, but it was a dark time when I was by myself. After Cancun, I wanted to write. I wanted to get the word out. And it took me 5 months to write a blog post. And it also took me about 3 or 4 months to actually post on Facebook about my experience, because I was ashamed. I was ashamed of divorce. I was ashamed of, I didn't know the worth. I didn't know my worth at that time. I did my last podcast about MS on March 15th, 2019. And then the pandemic hit in 2020. As all of us, that was a massive shift for me. Before the pandemic, I was going to the pool 2 to 3 times a week and able to move my body. I was able to get into bed. I was able to transfer. I was still taking showers. I was getting in the shower. And then when the pandemic hit, I wasn't able to go to the pool anymore. And so my body changed big time. My mentality changed, my body changed. It changed everything, as it did for so many people. Things happened in my apartment that got scary. I fell out of my bed a couple times, and I ended up, for safety, I started sleeping in my wheelchair. And so I've been sleeping in my wheelchair for a couple of years now. And that is something that I'm thankful for, in a way that I've stayed safe. I envision getting in bed again. I envision those things, and that's part of my path. I know it is. After the pandemic, on October 2nd, 2020 was the last time I drove my car. And I was having a great day that day. I remember the chemicals that went through my mind when something happened, and it started a thought process that got me freaked out. And I can still feel the chemicals from that day. Now that I know what I know, I can feel what happened. I can feel the transition that happened, and it was all fear. It was just fear-based. What's great is that I now know that I can understand those things a lot better now. So I'm able to head those things off a lot better than I used to be able to. On February 11th, 2021, I did my first, I call it my paradigm shift to healing, was the name of the podcast. And I interviewed 2 people that I met in Cancun, and I had been taking a course with them, which was about emotional healing. That podcast, I always write an introduction to my podcast. And in that podcast, it took me 3 or 4 months to write the introduction, because I was writing at that time. I needed to justify who I was. I needed to validate who I was, being so ashamed of it. The introduction was almost my way of validating myself. And that was the first time that I was able to mention my wife's name in a podcast. Not her name, just that I had an ex-wife, that I had gone through a divorce. That's the first time I was able to say that, which was, I'll never forget trying to record that. I couldn't breathe. As I was trying to talk, I couldn't breathe as I was recording that introduction. It took me so long to write it, record it, feel good about it. And it was 45 minutes by the time I got done with that introduction. And it's all about my process of paradigm shift. And that was also the last podcast that took me forever to edit. I probably edited that one 200 times because I just didn't trust my voice. And I had to make so many edits to make it flow. During this time, I did a process called freedom activation. I was in a group with Ilka Ocean, and we did some very big excavating of emotions. Really stepped into our past, and I was stuck in my past at that time. Stuck in bitterness and anger and fear, in all those emotions that don't serve me. Just checking my notes here.
Hey, can I, Ilka, what's the biggest, if Jim, if you don't mind, just what do you see in Jim right now, the biggest change and the biggest just the difference of what he's talking about? Because that sounds like it was a while ago and just now and hearing him, I'm just curious.
I just see so much more confidence that he has in, or Thor, that you have in yourself, much more of a flow.
Yeah.
And much more joy too. I mean, we had a lot of fun in those groups, you know, we did. With, I mean, Scott and Em were hilarious, and
Yeah, we had a lot of fun.
A lot of fun. But I see this new level of confidence and joy in you.
Yeah, thank you. It that was an intense group. I mean, we would really lay it out there, and it was vulnerability. And I remember sitting at this desk right here crying for 45 minutes, literally pounding on my desk. I was so mad, and I didn't know how to get it out. I didn't know I was that mad. I'd been covering it up for so long. I didn't know I was that mad, and didn't know I was angry about MS the way I was. I thought I had resolved that, but it was still in me. And that group, literally the freedom activation process was extremely hard to do for me, because I had to go back and revisit my old wounds and revisit the trauma that I had gone through. But I knew it was a critical step for me to step forward. It needed to get done. In February of 2022, so a year ago, I got off of 4 pharmaceutical drugs that were 2 forms of speed, I call it, 1 muscle relaxer and a nerve conduction medicine. And those were, the side effects of those were UTIs, and I had chronic UTIs, and those are just so dilapidating. They wore me down in ways that I can't even explain. I couldn't sleep, you know, so I have a wheelchair that lays back completely, but I wasn't able to sleep because I had so much anxiety. So my feet were down a lot. My feet were as big as cinder blocks, you guys. I had really bad edema, and so the liquid stayed in my feet. They were as big as cinder blocks, sore and tender, and yet I didn't have the energy to spend on my feet. I was thinking about all kinds of other things before then. You know, going through a divorce with somebody that you created business with is a tough thing to go through. I went to a Dr. Joe week-long, Niagara Falls, in September of 22. And that was the first Dr. Joe I'd been to for 1.5 years. That was an extremely, oh man, that was such a powerful event. As we know, we've talked about it, but it was a step into a new me, for sure.
And that's Niagara you're talking about right now?
That was Niagara, yeah, that we were at.
Right.
So many of us were at that event.
Yeah.
And it was extremely powerful for me.
Get that Niagara electricity going through these cars.
Yeah. And by the time I went to Niagara Falls, I'd gone through a lot of changes again. I had a caregiver that was traveling with me to get there. And actually, when I first signed up for Niagara, I didn't know who my caregiver was going to be. I relied on the universe to bring me somebody, and it did. And it was a beautiful, beautiful gift. I had changed a lot. I ended up getting a suprapubic catheter, it's called. I got that installed in my belly, and I can't explain it unless you've experienced catheter, having to self-catheterize. I can't explain the pain that is physically, mentally, emotionally. And so just having that change helped me be able to concentrate more on my meditations, which was a big deal. At that event, I also met Dr. Joe, which he told me to notice the small things. And that has been big since then. Because I've always wanted the big healing, right? I've always wanted that big bang. but it's not about that. I've noticed that it truly is about the small things that I've been stepping through. After Niagara Falls, about 3 weeks later, I did my first I did a podcast about 3 weeks later, and it was with Simon, who was my guide during the freedom activation process. And that one is called, well, I forgot what it's called now. Something healing.
We could look it up.
Yeah. Anyway, my point is that, man, that podcast flowed. My confidence has changed. My trusting my voice, trusting my ability to speak, trusting what I know has changed a lot, which has changed my healing journey and changed my podcast journey. I released Simon's podcast on November 29th. I definitely had the Dr. Joe bug at this point because I had already signed up for Cancun in December of last year, 22. And so I finished Simon's podcast on November 29th. I recorded my next podcast on the next day. And I got that done before I left to go to Cancun. So I edited, interviewed, edited my intro, edited the podcast all in 3 days. I've never, ever done that before. So that was such a validation that I'm changing, that this is working. My mind, I'm literally editing right now with one hand tied behind my back. I mean, I'm editing with one hand. I can type with one hand. I can use my left hand on the mouse, but my right hand is in my lap the whole time. So the fact that I was able to do 2 podcasts in that amount of time blew me away. And it just set the stage to go to Cancun, where, again, it was an amazing event, but it changed the thought process of who I am and what I'm capable of. After Cancun, the podcast I did after Simon was with a friend of mine, Jill Gu. And what I really enjoyed about that podcast is, one, I didn't overthink it, which is big for me. And I let it flow. I let the information flow, and I found my laughter in that podcast. I had taken things so seriously, tried to control so much, that I had a hard time laughing in podcasts. It's just, I was worried too much about too many things, and that changed big time.
Oh, sorry. I didn't realize I was.
Nope. I just got to check my notes here. Sorry, guys.
Oh, it's all good, man. This is just just want to let you know, this is just amazing stuff that we're listening to right now, man. Thank you.
A big change for me physically between Niagara Falls and Cancun. It was only 3 months, September, yeah, about 3 months. I tried to stand up in Niagara Falls and I wasn't able to. I tried to stand up after the walking meditations and I wasn't able to get out of my chair. In Cancun, I stood up 18 times out of my wheelchair after the walking meditations. 6 the first day, 9 the second day, and 3 the third day. I stood up to where I felt my feet on the ground. I saw my feet in the sand. I took my socks off, put my feet in the sand. I was envisioning who I was. I could feel the ancients on the beach with me. It was just so empowering to see my feet in the sand and to know that I could do it.
Let's go. Oh my God.
Stepping back a little bit, in March of last year, I actually invited my wife into my apartment for the first time since the divorce. And that was a huge, huge step for me. I was so angry and bitter and locked in that mode that I just realized what a shield I've had around my heart for so long, being in survival mode for so long. And that was healing for me, for my ex, for my daughters, because we all stood in my apartment and we laughed. I mean, for the first time in a long, long time. It changed things. It changed things within me. A big, huge part of this process for me is learning to love myself and loving myself, even though I'm sleeping in my wheelchair. loving myself, even though I'm only editing with one hand, loving myself because I'm trusting myself. Trust and faith have been huge in this journey. And lately I just can't, trust is coming up all over the place. And I hadn't trusted myself for so long, I just didn't know how. There's so much power in trusting yourself, loving yourself. I still have the Dr. Joe bug. I have signed up for Nashville, and so I'm going to Nashville in a month. Well, just a little bit over a month now.
Let's go.
Yep, in between Cancun, which just happened, and Nashville, I will complete 4 podcasts in 4 months. If you would have told me that a year ago, I absolutely would have thought you were crazy. I did not think it was possible for me to do 4 podcasts in 4 months. And not only that, but they're like my best podcasts I've done. I interviewed right after Niagara. I interviewed my first doctor. Her name's Dr. McMakin, Carolyn McMakin. And the big part for me is that my mind was working in a different way. My mind was flowing. I was very present. I wasn't overthinking. I wasn't anxious, and it was fun. I'm finding my passion again for this. I'm finding my joy in life again for living, and editing my podcast isn't a big deal now. In Carolyn's podcast, I probably edited 4 times total. And that's just knowing and trusting myself to talk and say what I need to say. After Carol, I did a podcast with our favorite guy, Robby. And again,
400 edits. No, I'm just kidding.
What's that?
Oh, I said 400 edits. You said 4 for her.
Yes, yeah. So here's the good thing about Robby's podcast, that I did have to edit a lot because my microphone is really hot. And so I had to edit, like every time I asked a question, I was blowing it away. So I had to chop into it and edit a lot, but I did it. I mean, even though it was a lot of edits, I did it with one hand, and I did it without thinking about it. I was just doing and not overthinking, which is new for me. And it's unknown for me. And this is about stepping into the unknown, right? Most recently, I interviewed Leland Holgate, who is the Willful Warrior. He was in Niagara Falls as well as a volunteer. And he is a smart guy, man. He is getting a double doctorate right now. And is it neuroscience and psychology? I think it is. Anyway, again, I was very grateful for how my mind was able to keep up. I liked the questions I asked. I liked that I was present, and I haven't edited once during our conversation yet, and I'm at least 45 minutes into it. So I know I'm going to have to edit once because I know I stuttered and I checked out my notes. But other than that, it just all flowed. My next podcast in a week and a half is with a gal named Catriona Dean. Was in Niagara Falls as well. I didn't meet her there. And she does the emotional and body code work, which from Bradley Nelson. Again, I get to share my knowledge. I get to share my voice, and interviewing people who have a lot to share, and interviewing people that are on my journey. I'm doing it in a way that I'm just feeling myself more, feeling the process more, and enjoying it.
And this is just the beginning. That's the greatest part.
Yeah.
Not only where you're going to be from repetition, but also where you're going to be as a person.
Absolutely. And it is, the work that we do is about feeling your future self, right? It's feeling who you want to be. And through this journey, I have lost so many different things. Chronic illness just takes your manhood away, takes away your abilities to think that you can do something. And it became a habit for me to think that I can't do anything. And that's, focusing on the cans instead of the can'ts has been a huge part of this. Realizing that my voice is valuable, not being ashamed of what I've been through, but knowing that what I've been through is all to get me right here. It's all part of this path to get me where I need to be. And I honestly believe that I'm here for a reason, that I'm in this wheelchair for a reason, and that I can speak to people about getting out of a wheelchair because I'm going to do it. And getting out of a wheelchair is what a lot of people obviously want to do, desire to do. But we just, the medical community doesn't say it's possible. So doing my podcast has shown me to trust myself, and to know that everything is possible.
It certainly is.
Yeah, and it has changed my identity. You know, I've kind of, my podcast has been in my back pocket since 2014. I've been able, you know, I've had some good strides with it, but it is something that I'm so grateful for right now, because I'm able to use my background. I'm able to edit. I mean, that's what I enjoy doing. And I got into broadcast journalism because I want to interview people and have connection with people. So that is beginning again. And I'm stepping into the unknown, and there are so many fun people to interview, so many fun things to do. And I'm really grateful for what's going on right now. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for being here. And I appreciate everybody in this that is a part of my journey with me, because we're all together in this.
Oh, awesome, Jim. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
everybody
you.
unmute if you want now. Unmute. The silence is over. Good job, man.
Yay.
Great job.
Thank
you, Jim, so much.
Go Thor. Go
Love
Thor.
you, Jim.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you. That was awesome.
Good stuff, Jim.
Thank you,
Loved
guys.
it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's nice. You know, like I said, a year ago, I wouldn't be able to do this. And knowing the group of people that I'm talking to, it was no problem. It's fun. You know, we're stepping into something new together.
Jim, you're a true warrior.
Thank you. You know what? I am. And you know, during this process, I've had a hard time accepting compliments. And so I told myself tonight, I got to be open to allow the good in, you know, allow good things in.
Oh, yeah, you got to receive, Jim.
Exactly. And, you know, I was a healee in both Niagara and Cancun. And that was a big takeaway for me, is you got to receive. You've got to think of yourself as valuable enough, because we look at the person next to us. We're like, oh, they might heal. They could heal, but we got to know that we can heal. And so I'm learning to take a compliment.
Well, one thing that I've mentioned this to you before in the dot connectors in the morning, but your ability and, you know, gift of sharing your process, you know, sharing, you know, what's going on in your head, why, when you're doing what, and being so vulnerable about it. To me, I mean, we all have a process, you know, and I don't, you know, I think you've really given me the insight into the importance of being able to articulate it. You know, so because I don't think I even can do that at this point. You know, like I know what I do and I know what I'm doing, but to be able to share it like that, to be able to do that, I think it's a good thing to be able to do that. And I think I have to do that.
Yeah. You step into it. You step into your own power, because it takes power to speak for yourself. And just, you know, that's been what my journey is about, is finding my own voice. I didn't know, when in my marriage, I felt like I had a hole in my heart, a black hole in my heart, and I didn't know where it was coming from. And so I've needed to step into my voice and get rid of the past in order to know who I am right now. And that's been a process.
And I think we all have a different process, you know, it's just, it's different, you know, but to be able to articulate it, whatever it is for you or me or whoever, you know, I think doing that is just a gift that you're showing me how to do that. So
Good,
thank you.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
And Jim, I think I'm saying the same thing that Layla was saying, but with different language. Your self-awareness is really incredible. And that vulnerability, like the self-awareness, to me, like showing that vulnerability and articulating it in your self-awareness is like the most attractive thing that a human being can have. And that is really where your healing is coming from. Like your body working will just be the icing on the cake.
Mhm. Yeah, and thank you, Lauren. That's the lesson. For so long, I've been waiting for that big bang. Like the fireworks when you hit the pineal gland, and that's what's going to change. But it's not that. It's noticing the little things. It's overcoming on the way to becoming. And that's when Dr. Joe said that in Niagara Falls, I'm like, okay, it's not about the healing, it's about who you become in the process. And that's huge. Who I've become during this process is somebody who can do 4 podcasts in 4 months, somebody who can record a podcast right after finishing one before that. I can do that. I've shown myself that. I've shown myself that I can stand up 18 times. I've shown myself that. So it's about showing myself that I have a voice and trusting it.
And
Hey,
you've built a
Jen,
foundation.
what
Sorry.
no, sorry, really quick. Lauren, go right after I'm done. I'm sorry. Do the hand raise thing, everybody, just so we don't have anybody talk over each other like we just did right there. And then we'll get a flow of conversation because I know a bunch of people want to say stuff. But Lauren, go. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, sorry about that. You're really built such a strong foundation. I've had this talk with a few people before about people that go to the healing, that go to the retreats, have a healing and are healed like a sort of instantly, but
Yeah.
then they don't have the foundation to hold it. And they revert back. Whereas by the time it happens for you, it's going to be like just this little click. It's not, because it's just the next step of a long
Yes.
journey. So yeah.
And to speak to that, in Cancun, the first time in 2019, I had so many mystical experiences that I thought, okay, this is it, this is it, this is it. On one of the walking meditations, Jesus came over my right shoulder, and he stood right in front of me, and he said, I told the volunteer who was helping me, I said, okay, here it is, it's time. I thought it was time to stand up, but I didn't stand up. And he just said very simply, he said, I'm here when you're ready. And I thought, I am ready right now, man. I'm ready right now. I wasn't ready right now. I mean, I equate it to a lottery winner that goes broke because they're not used to spending that or having that much money. And my emotions have been such a low vibration that if I would have stood up and walked at that time, I think I would have gone straight back down again because I didn't have the foundation at that point.
So great. All right, Angela, Lauren, thank you so much. I love when you always got some great stuff to say. Thank you for sharing that. So before Angela, Amanda just wrote, thank you, Jim. Your voice is heard and you are making a difference more than you know. I envision you walking Nashville, here we come. And right above that, Nicole, so inspirational. I know you will walk. Fucking go, man.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah. All right, Angela.
So Jim, thank you so much for sharing tonight.
You're welcome.
One of the things that I feel like the medical community does such a disservice to so many people. And you spoke a little bit about that. I'm a pharmacist. I'm in the medical community. I have been for 38 years. And we do just such a disservice. And it's people like you who are going to turn around and give people hope that there is a way.
Thank you.
That there is hope, that you can heal. And that's what I see your voice doing, is to really give others that knowing that they don't have to be told, sorry, this is just the way it is, because that's what they do. And I just am so grateful that you shared tonight and that you're sharing on your podcast. And that is not, is giving your voice, but is helping those who don't have one.
Yes. Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
And one thing that I've really noticed in this is as I was a part of the MS community, the conversations during an MS self-help group are about issues. They're about what's going wrong and what's wrong with the healthcare system and what my doctor said that wasn't right and how pissed I am that I can't get Social Security. Those are the conversations that go on. And the conversations aren't about healing. They're about the bullshit that happens because of this chronic illness. And that's not healing.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. And, I was a victim for a very, very, very long time. I was a victim of so many different things. And as a victim, victims don't heal. And I've had to realize that, acknowledge that, and step beyond it.
Yep. Wow. Victims don't heal.
Mm-mm.
Well,
Yeah.
wow. I just want to, Angela, that was powerful. Thank you for sharing that. I just want to let you know, that was really, really heartfelt. Whew. Jim, victims do not heal. Oh, I just want to say hello to Mung. Mung, I know how hard it is for her to hop on one of these calls, and she just hopped on and saw her. Go Mung. Anybody, please speak up if you have any questions. I still kept, but never mind. Kathy, there you go.
Jim, I just absolutely love how you are so aware of things that are working or not working for you. You step into it and you look for something right in front of you, or you do research to make it change. That's not only vulnerable to share, but that's, that really shows the true warrior that you are and the person who is determined to make the changes that are occurring with you and that are going to continue to occur with you. Acknowledge that and own it, because that's huge. Well done. Really well done.
Thank you. That's part of being able to receive the good. And I feel that now. People say you're an inspiration, Jim, and I don't feel that. I haven't felt that, but I'm stepping into that because I feel everybody's heart. I just think that my heart hasn't been as much there for me as it is now.
And that's who you are.
Yes, it is.
It's so obvious. That's who you are. I mean, it's
yeah.
so obvious to see that, which is awesome that you are now owning that for yourself. I'm happy for you. That's great. Just great.
Yeah, becoming Thor was huge for me.
Yeah.
Changing my name to Thor, and it hasn't been official yet, but I am Thor, and I'm Thor, the god of thunder, man.
I love it.
I can step into that. Every time I think of that, I think of strength and power, and that's who we are.
Mm-hmm.
That's who I am.
I love it. Are you legally going to change it somehow?
I don't know yet. I've thought about it.
I don't, honestly. I mean, I've met a couple people within this community that changed their names to like things like that, and it's really powerful stuff, man.
Yeah.
You just said, I was like, ooh, I was like, whoa, that sounds really strong.
I'm changing as much as I can right now, so who knows what's next.
Yeah, man, that's what I mean. Like, yeah, you're gonna have like a Thor tattoo across your back.
Let's go to my bicep.
Yeah,
my bicep showing my power.
Yeah, there you go. The hammer on your hand. Get the hammer.
There you go.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Lots. I don't know if you're just seeing just what people are saying. Just I love that Thor. That should be a song. Oh, that should be a song. Robby, victims don't heal. Yeah, I love that. That's a great idea. Yes, please do step into it because you truly are inspiration, Jim. Seriously, soak it fucking in, accept it. I know where you're coming from with that. It's hard. That's accepting it is. I think there's two things that we're all of us have in common is accepting the love, and then also I think we're also realizing, at least within the conversations in the last week or so, is that we all thought our heart has been more open for ourselves than it really truly has. It's kind of like it's been misdiagnosed. Now we're truly understanding how to open our hearts, open up our hearts for ourselves. So yeah.
When Michael spoke about love is all there is, I think about that a lot right now. And what if love is all there is? Then there's no need to be living in the hate and anger that I have. And if love is all there is, and that's what you need, then just keep on stepping into that.
Yep. Yeah, he said nothing else matters to me in Jamaica. That was like a month ago. That was a sentence a month ago. What it is now, it's full of energy and understanding, and it's really powerful. It is, and you're doing and you're all in, man. Like and what it is like you understand what all in is, and to what Kathy just said, like what you're doing is what you need to do to be all in.
Yeah.
Right. Because that's like when we're at events, we become all in at certain moments. We're like, let's get that bottled up. Let's be like
Yeah.
that.
And it's,
Yeah.
it's being able to keep that going right now. Bye, Ilka. Ocean.
Oh, we got
Oh.
Ilka's out of here. Ilka.
I don't know. I thought I saw you.
Oh, never mind.
I just want to say something before I go.
Oh, go for it. Go for it.
There's something so powerful in calling Jim Thor, and coming from that place in myself, that's ocean,
Yeah.
because I'm talking to that powerful part of you that is you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you are talking to the powerful place in me by calling me ocean. So there's something very beautiful in having those names for ourselves.
I agree. And
connecting to them.
when I see you, you are ocean. It took me a long time to say Ilka because you're
Right.
ocean, and that's who we are. I am Thor. You know, that's who I am.
Yep. Yeah. And Thor, you are love. You know, whenever I see you at an event, I love it because I come and stand next to you and my heart opens, and you know, I often just cry when I'm standing there with you, you know. It's
Thank
great.
you.
Yeah.
And I, like Robby said, I am realizing that more. I had so many fun things happen in Cancun and Niagara Falls that I would just kind of be out on my own, and I would always have a conversation. There's always somebody there to talk with. And I had 3 people in Cancun come up to me and say, I was walking by and I was told that I need to come talk to you. And
Wow.
one gal said, I literally was walking by and she said to herself, I don't know him. And she said, I looked down and my feet were coming towards you and I didn't move them. And so that's just the universe showing me that I am powerful and I am magnetic. And that's stepping into the good.
Yep.
So,
Yay.
Yay.
Sheila,
Yay.
thanks, Ilka. You're the best.
Thanks, Ocean.
Sheila.
Hi, a couple of things. First, I'm sure Michael told Jim, but in case the rest of the group, the only reason, because Michael's traveling, so he's at the airport, or else he would be here supporting his bros and all of us. And on the other thing, where Jim, I love Thor. Because you know what, Jim is so synonymous with Thor, in my opinion. It is one. Because we are all one, if I'm going to get really deep about it. But I really want to share with you, Jim, that you are here for a reason, and you're connecting so much more on so many different levels with so many people. And just because maybe they don't have something that somebody else can see inside, we also have things that we need to dig through. And because you persevere so openly, it helps I know it helps me. And I told you so in Cancun, and after, as we've talked, that some of us battle things that others can't see. And you serve a greater purpose than you've even started to realize.
Thank you, Sheila.
You're welcome. And I love you so much.
I love you too. And Sheila and I met in Cancun. She was in my 3rd Healy group. She was a healer in my 3rd healing. And she's the first person I saw when I opened my eyes, and it's been a connection ever since. So it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful.
Thanks, Sheila.
Thank you, Sheila.
That was really deep. That was strong. Thank you. That was great.
Just stepping into it. We all need to have the courage to step into it.
That's what it's all about.
No matter what we're going through, whether people see it or not, you got to have courage to step into it.
Fucking go. I love it. All right. The one and only Mung. Light it up.
Oh, my turn.
Yes, ma'am.
Hey guys. So I really wanted to say thank you to Jim, not just because today, you know, just during all this time I joined this group, and just the interaction with you, hear you talking here and there, and we would text each other. I want to tell you, I'm so thankful for you. For the one reason is because my English is really fucking crappy.
No,
And
it's
so when I
not.
go to
Stop it.
it fucking is. You don't know. I mean, try living in China, okay? So, but anyway, so whenever I go to Dr. Joe's, and I have to say, because my limitation for the vocabulary, I could actually only understand 20% of it. I'm not joking, really is. And but the 80% the word he said I don't understand, but the 20% for me is like the essence for the work. So that is why I doing this work, because I felt in deep my heart, I know that work is something I just so truly believe it. But sometimes, when I don't understand what he's saying or the scientist saying, is frustrating for me. So for me, for whoever in this work, whoever I can talk and I felt I can understand. And for me, it's just a huge valuable. And whenever I hear Jim, for some reason, I understand almost like 99% of what he's saying.
Oh, that's cool.
It's maybe like a few words you said I don't understand, but I totally got what you're saying. And almost like everything you say was hit in the spot for me. And so you are so valuable for people who don't really speak English really well. No. And because everything you said, maybe just, I felt I have the same healing journey like what you do. And like you mentioned today, you said you met Dr. Joe. He said just, always remember the small changes, the small things. And you said like, you slowly, you trusting what you know. A lot of things, the work, the book, every book I read like 40% page, I giving up, just too much. I have to check dictionary. But just listen to you is for me like, yeah, that's every single thing you said is like every chapter for his book.
Wow.
Everything you said to me is like, it's my step. It's almost like my guidebook. And to do this work, and for me to, you said build the trust. Sometimes I don't know what he's saying. He always said you have to understand the knowledge behind it, but I have to grasp the essence for the work. And that's why I so appreciate about you, because everything you said is the essence. And it's very very organic for me. Everything you said, I got it. It's like I writing down everything you said. I go home. I like Jimmy said that. Everything you said, I writing down, and I know. And so help me build my trust for what I'm doing. So I just really wanted to say thank you.
That's awesome, Mong. That is really, really cool. Thank you for sharing
Thank
that.
you.
Yeah, and you and I have had some really cool text messages and messages back and forth, and to know that you understand what I'm saying that's really, really cool.
I understand everything you said. I have to say, I'm watching so many films. I work for film for a long time. I don't understand most people's film. I have to look in the Chinese subtitle, but only David Lynch's film, I understand every single thing he said.
Wow.
Do you like David Lynch in this subject? To me, it's the essence. It's the feeling of it.
Oh, that's great.
And
It's
Thank
like
you, Tim.
energy.
We are connected. We are connected, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
The energy.
The truth.
Spot on.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Mong. That's awesome.
That was powerful.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Mong. You're so great. You're so All right. Is anybody else have anything they'd like to ask or share with Jim? This has been such great, powerful, strong conversation. Jim, seriously, this has just been such. We're all connected. This is what it is. This is what it is. I just love that we're doing this. Arsa, sorry, there you are. Shout out to Arsa. Hey, Arsa with the
What up?
What
up, my favorite people?
Hey, gay.
So, I love this group so much, and I keep being present too when I not to be snobby when I hang out with the people who aren't in the 5D yet. I'm like, I really miss my 5D group. Nothing wrong with them, just like I miss those conversations so much. And something about the energy. But I did want to share what Jim said about what you said about I'm ready for my healing, and then you recognize that you weren't quite feeling ready because of the low vibration. First of all, I think it's such a brave thing to say and just recognize that. I'm also an Abraham Hicks fan too. I think I've mentioned in the group that what I'm manifesting is romantic relationship. And I was like, there are days where I'm like, I'm ready for it now. What else do I need to do? Like, I'm ready for it now. And I was listening to an Abraham Hicks lecture, and she said, chances are, if you are saying you're ready for it, you're not ready for it. So I'm not ready for it.
And, you know, that's a hard one to overcome, because I'm trying not to say the word want, and I try to say desire instead, because want has like a victim mentality behind it. And when you want something, it resonates with lack more than it does getting it. And so I've just been thinking about my vibration, and instead of the healing, it's who am I? You know, what can I do today to show love? You know, a couple of days ago, my ex called me, and I did a couple things that I wouldn't have done 6 months ago. And it was just showing love, with just the only intention was to share love. And what a nice place to be. You know, and I think it's that, just being in that phase more often, then the healing and the relationship shows up like a thief in the night.
Yeah, in the most unknown way possible.
Arson,
Yeah.
play like a thief in the night. You do a great Joe impersonation too. Let's get double in a thief in the night going here.
Yeah, I didn't even know what that meant for the longest time, until in between Niagara and Cancun. I didn't quite understand that, but now I do. It sneaks in when you're not expecting it. When you're noticing the small things, the thief comes in and gives you healing. It doesn't take from you, it gives you healing.
Wow.
Yeah, the thief isn't taking from you. It's like a thief in the night. He's coming in and giving me something when I at least expect it.
Sandman sprinkling the sleep
There you
dust.
go. Sandman, thief in the night.
Robin Hood.
Yeah.
Oh, so great.
Thor.
Thor, yeah.
Thor.
Arsa, thanks for sharing what you just like.
Yeah, thanks, Arsa.
Process you're going through, because it's the same. Again, we're all going through different things. You guys are you're going through the same process. Shared how and everything's connected. So thank you. Thank you for being vulnerable.
Of course. Thank you for having me share, and thank you, Jim, for your wonderful share tonight. You really never cease to amaze. I want to send you Thor's hammer with your painting, to be honest. Like,
You know, I can't reach it right now, but I have a Thor's hammer on my bookshelf over here.
oh really?
Yeah, that I took it to Marco Island, because one of the first things is you got to dress up as your future self. So I had a Thor t-shirt and my Thor hammer in Marco Island.
That is so awesome.
Yeah.
Are we gonna get to see you in Denver, hopefully? With that?
I'm not sure yet. I'm going to Nashville, and then not sure where it's going to go after that.
The quantum figure it out, I guess.
Yes.
Yep. I'm definitely got the Dr. Joe bug, that's for sure.
Denver, whoop whoop.
Yep. I could be there all the time if I could. I would.
And guys, again, we're packing this energy right now that was never there before, that we're bringing there. We're gonna fucking pop the light bulbs in the ceiling when we hang out with each other.
Oh my God, thank God. We're gonna power the house. We're not even gonna have to turn the lights on. It's just gonna glow.
Anybody ever see the movie The Natural, like the baseball movie?
Oh yeah.
All
Yeah.
these lights. That's what it's gonna be like. Old school. That's like 80s. I actually watched that on my way to Cancun. I think I watched it on my way to Cancun, on the airplane. Really quick, I just want to say, Murad left. He said, thanks, Thor and gang. This was so inspiring and wonderful. See y'all in a few hours. Lots of love. Just want to make sure I said that. I don't know if he's still here or not, but I just want to make sure I read I watched Bad News Bears before Cancun. That's funny. All right. That was from Travis. Thank you for sharing. Edie said that. All right. What was I going to say? Nothing. I forget. Mung, I think Mung said love you all. I believe. Wait, who said love you all? Sorry, that was actually Mung's photo. Maggie, you're up. Sorry, I meant to say that. Sorry. I like those shades, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, I just wanted to say how crazy it is that every week, I mean, this is my second time joining the Sunday conversation, and it's like, are you guys listening to me and what's happening in my life? Because
Yes, we haven't told you until now. We bugged your apartment.
okay, because that's what's happening. The theme is going with like, okay, so this is what you're like going through this day. We're gonna bring that up, and with the Jim's topic and what he said about what can I do to show love, and it just hit me because I went through a divorce with my business partner, and it's kind of fresh, about 2-3 months now, and we went through the initial anger, and now it seems to be kind of in a phase of calm down. And it really just, when you said that, I was like, yeah, what can I do to show more love back to her now that we're calm? So that was very, very cool. And Jim, you are an inspiration. And when I was watching you, it just felt like your heart wants to like literally explode in your chest, because it's just filled. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I hope he's gonna, I didn't say I hope, I'm like, he will walk. And it I don't know, like your heart is just, it's big, it's there.
It's, my heart is big. Thank you very much, Maggie. Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And no, thank you. Dr. Joe says, no, thank you. No, thank you.
Should we do it? No, thank you.
No, thank you.
Maggie was in Niagara too. I'm not sure if you guys met, just so you know.
I don't think we did.
Nope, we haven't met, but I listened to your interview the other day and it was amazing. I listened to it all day with the doctor, the frequency doctor lady.
Yeah,
that was amazing. That was amazing.
Great. Thank you. Yeah, that was a good one.
So we met through your podcast already.
Yeah. We are all connected.
Mm-hmm.
Love this. Maggie, thanks for sharing that. And yes, next week, I can't wait to hear what you're going through.
Exactly, because it will be what I'm going through. So thank you.
It's not gonna not happen.
Oh yeah, there was another theme, which is kind of what Jim is saying, like he's stepping into the future, and I am stepping into the future. So it was two things, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what is happening here?
Great.
Anyway, so I'm excited to know what happens next week, like truly.
Well, we're gonna have, oh gosh, I just realized Ilka left. Ilka's gonna be the guest. So she's in
Ocean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ocean. Ilka Ocean, aka Ocean.
Nice.
Yeah, we got like a line, we got like weeks of lined up of guests. It's so cool. And they're all so exciting. Really
That's
quick,
awesome.
thank you so much. Maggie, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Catherine just said, thank you so much, Jim. This has been so powerful and inspiring. Good night, everyone. Sending you all love. So much love. Have a wonderful week. Thank you, Jim and Rob and everyone. That was from Nicole at the end. Gina.
Hey.
Gina, you're up now.
Yes. So, well, Jim, Maggie just said what I was gonna say, so about your heart. But I'm so appreciative of your share and your inspiration. You inspire me and everyone so much more than words can explain. It's felt. And I also saw you in Niagara, and I noticed you, and it was your heart. And then in Cancun, I kept seeing you, and I think I told Robby, I was like, I keep seeing, and he encouraged me to go say hi, but I'm not someone that the known for me. I don't go up to people, it's like not my thing. But it was the same thing that last day. You were right before you were leaving on the bus, and the energy just took me to talk to you and introduce myself. You met my mom. So it was your heart that drew me in. And that's what I see. Like when you speak, your voice is very healing, but it's the heart, it's that love. And I remember you sharing in the group that you were focusing on your heart one day and you weren't focusing on the healing, it was the heart energy.
Yeah.
You remember, I don't know the exact words, but
Yeah.
it's something Dr. Joe said, and you all can help me with that. He said I heard him in the podcast, he said, you're not so special that, like, we think we're special that we can't heal. And that's something I work on, like, oh, everyone else can have something, but not me, right? That's like something, a pattern I work on. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Dr. Joe says something about that.
Yes.
Is it this where he says that, he also says you're not that good. Like I
Yes,
thought that it's up to me. Like it's up to me to do the healing. And he's
Yes.
like, no, you're not that good. You can't do the healing. You've got to give it away. You've got to let go and surrender.
Yeah.
The divine can do the healing because you're not that good.
Right. And it's not on our time frame, like the way my mind, I'm on this now, but when we work in the quantum and focus on that, it's the dance of surrender and putting in the effort, and that dance that I find very intriguing and fun.
Well, thank you, Gina. And first I want to say that, when Jesus went around my shoulder, that's exactly what I look at it now. I'm like, he was saying he's always here, but he's here when I'm ready. I wasn't ready. Even though I thought I was, I look back at that now, I'm like, that's the message to me. I'm here when you're ready. And that means the beauty is here. We just need to be ready mentally to step into it. And well, you're the fourth person then, Gina, that walked up to me in Cancun. And I remember that very clearly, meeting you and your mom. And Robby, we said that we're magnetic, and thoughts come from the brain and feelings come from the heart, and the heart is the magnet. So it's interesting that you say you're like a magnet, or you're pulling people to you from your heart. So I just realized that's the magnet of our heart.
And I just want to, not to shout Gina out, but I remember Gina was so excited that she met you.
That was cool.
She texted me a photo and said, look who I just met. Like, seriously, Jim, And
I saw you so many times, and I kept getting the nudge to go up to you, and I just, I didn't. And then the last day, the opportunity was there, and I was walked to you.
all love. That's what it is. It's all love, man. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and you were supposed to meet because that opportunity came up at just the right time.
Yeah. Oh, and I was in Cancun, I was looking online about something, and one of your blogs came up about your first journey to Cancun. And I think I read that like a day or two. I read it 1 or 2 days before the last day that I saw you. So
yeah, and that's the blog that took me 5 months to write.
Right.
Because I wanted everything I needed to be perfect and all that stuff, what I discovered. But yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Thanks, Gina.
Thanks, Gina. Thanks so much.
Welcome.
All right, before we carry on more, because if we do, love synchronicities from Sheila, big time. I just want to make sure everybody who's on the call now. So I guess, like, I think you did mention just what's coming up on the podcast. Just mention, how people could find you. And this is going to be recorded too, anyway. Actually, now that I think about it, and also just, I think you said the next event, which is then Nashville, and just what's going on next personally with you in life. I would just love to hear about that.
First of all, you can reach me at howyourreallydoing@gmail.com, and it's doing without a G. How you really doing? Or jimfairchild@me.com if you're interested in emailing.
Right. And I'm going to post that all in the groups, just so you know.
Okay.
Type it up.
And I'll also post the picture of me, the ad campaign that I was a part of, so people can see that. It's I like that campaign, and I'm holding a picture of my daughters, and so that was really big for me when I was holding that picture of just building that relationship with them during that time. So it was really cool.
Yeah, and thank you. So
what's next personally for me? continue the work. You know, it's really interesting. I feel right now like there's a lot of change going on, and my body has been moving better. Yesterday, I had a different caregiver last night, and she held my hand. She gave pressure against my left hand, and I did it 15 times. I pushed against the pressure 15 times. I haven't done that for a long time. My right arm, she put pressure, you know, she held it, and I pushed on it like 5 times. I haven't done that. There's a lot of changes going on right now. Yeah, exactly. There's so many changes going on right now that is stepping into that. So that's really where I'm at right now, is stepping into change. I have a challenge and opportunity in front of me right now that I keep on stepping into, and it's just continuing to find my voice and trust myself. I mean, that's really big for me right now, is to trust myself and trust that I know what I'm doing, and keep finding ways to change.
Awesome.
So I'll say Nashville is next for me personally. And I'm also looking for, I'll say it this way, a new place to live is going to come towards me, is going to come in my direction, because I'm going to live someplace with sunshine. I don't know where that is yet. I don't know what it's going to look like yet, but I'm going to be in a Dr. Joe community, and I'm going to be someplace in the sun, and it's going to be an amazing existence.
It might be where I move next too, because we're on the same page. So many other people in this group are, so many people within the community. Like, it's the greatest feeling about our next move is knowing that you're not going to be alone within the next move. Because like you just said, we're going to be moving into a community, or not creating yet, but yeah.
And like, you know, like Arsa said, it's how amazing would it be to wake up and know that right next door there's a Dr. Joe person, or across the street there's a Dr. Joe person.
And there's no reason that doesn't happen.
How amazing would that be?
Yeah.
How
amazing will that be? Because that's going to happen.
How amazing will that be? And just to keep the energy rolling, you know, a big change for me right now is that I'm looking for a new caregiver, and that person is going to come into my life, and that's going to change the physical things that I do. It's going to change the energy in my house. I'm changing the energy in my house. I'll say it that way. It's not about anybody else right now. It's all about me and the changes that I continue to make in me.
Good for you, man. Really quick, Cosette just wrote, I would like to reiterate that your healing has already began. You are remarkable, and I admire your strength and courage. Thank you for being so vulnerable. Keep up the awesome work.
Thank you, Cosette. Appreciate that. I allow that in. I accept it.
Yes.
I gotta say one thing with your podcast with McMakin, Carolyn.
Yeah.
I would have never known there was a lack of confidence. That was my first one I listened to. You nailed it. And you're kind of giggling a little and, you know, just making light. I would have never known that you struggled. I just thought it was the thing that you've always done. It just was very natural. So good job.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And that was my first one after Cancun. And I've been in a different place. You know, I've changed. I mean, from the first time I went to Cancun, I've changed 10,000% from who I am now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just completely different. And I trust myself now. I haven't, you know, so many times I've worried about what other people are going to think when my podcast comes out. I don't care now. That's not what it's about.
Good for you. Good for you.
Yeah, and I mean, and that echoes what Mung said. Just, it's so clear, everything you say, and what you say isn't wasted too. You know, it's clear, and it's also, you know, you cut the fat off. Everything you say is very important.
You know, it's interesting that when I moved into my apartment and I had a life coach, you ever heard the devil is in the details?
Yep.
I couldn't tell a story without so many details that it would take me half an hour to tell a 5-minute story, because I needed to validate myself so much within that story, and to show that it was somebody else's fault, or it wasn't my fault, or it, you know, whatever it was. I would share so many details that weren't relevant. And so now when I write, like I'll write a text or something, I'm like, I'll erase so much going, that's not even relevant to right now.
Mm.
And it's been such a practice to write what is profound and relevant and be succinct about it. Because the devil is in the details. If you need to say too much, then maybe you're not saying from the heart.
Yep. Ooh.
That was a big lesson.
Oh my gosh, there's a quote.
There's another good quote.
And then it's a t-shirt, and then you're like this on the shirt, like. Oh, very cool. Good stuff. This has been great, guys. I want to make sure. Hey, Jim, I know I started the call with a quote. If you had a quote that you wanted to end the call with, I mean, you kind of just did.
Well, a quote that I said early on in my podcast that really resonated with me then is that true freedom comes from complete vulnerability. And when I first started my podcast, I didn't know how I was going to talk about my bladder issues. I didn't know how I was going to talk about my marriage. I didn't know how I was going to talk, and I didn't know how I was going to talk about things. So I was vulnerable, but it was conditional. I was vulnerable as long as it didn't piss somebody off. You know, I was vulnerable only to a certain extent because I didn't want to upset people. I didn't want to rock the boat. And so I wasn't able to talk about my paradigm shift and Dr. Joe because my picture of the world was that it needed to fit a certain mold. And I've changed it. I've changed that mold now, so that I can talk more openly about it.
Very cool, man. This has been.
Thank you guys for giving me this opportunity. It's been really nice to share, and it's powerful. It really is. It's powerful to share, and it's very cathartic.
I do want to just let you know how great of a job you did. Just your vulnerability. There's the word. Courage, vulnerability, power. Thor. Just everything about tonight was just incredible, and thank you so much for doing this, man. This was really, really strong. This was really strong, and I'm happy that I was able to hear all this stuff.
It's extremely powerful for me too, and being able to share your voice has been that's what this journey is about for me. You know, I think the universe keeps showing me you don't need your physical abilities, you just need your voice. Trust your voice and everything else will come back.
Let's fucking go, man. Trust
Because
your
all we are, all we are is love. So while the body is important, you can be such a treasure of love in spite of it, and everything's going to fall into place after you get to that place so fully immersed in love.
That is so true, Sheila. Thank you. It makes me think of, like I said, I did something a couple days ago with my ex. My youngest daughter is going through a hard time right now, and so is my ex. And so she texted me and said that my daughter, was going through a hard time, and I'm like, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do as a dad? What can I do? And I didn't know what that was, so I just kind of meditated on it, and it came to me to just offer them food. Say that, I was going to go get something to eat. So I just said, hey, I'm going here. What would you like? And I took the decision making out for them. And I actually asked my wife what I can pick her up to eat. I haven't done that since the divorce. And, that the fact that she's going through a hard time right now, and I was there in that way, it speaks volume to the power of love. I didn't need to do anything physically. I didn't need to go out and get her dinner. It was the fact that I offered that she was so thankful for. Whether I took her the food or not, that wasn't the power in that. It was the power in being on the phone and realizing what they needed and say, what can I do to help? And be with them energetically. And that, there's so much power in that.
The loving frequency that you created just by instigating that thought.
Yeah.
And by sharing that thought just now.
Mm-hmm.
It's, you guys ever feel your heart and feel it radiate? When there's times where it just feels like it's going out of the room, going out of the country.
No, I'm not familiar with that feeling, Jim.
Yeah,
Can
well,
you
you gotta try
enlighten
it
me a
sometime.
little?
Yeah, you gotta try it sometime. It's really cool.
Jim, as I heard you say that, two things came up. It seems like your process there, you actually asked yourself, who do I want to show up as? Who does Jim want to be? And then the next thing you asked yourself is, what would love do? And you followed through, and that's exactly what you did. And those two things are so powerful because it gets you to where you need to be and who you want to be.
Yeah.
Beautiful. You did it.
Well, and I ask a lot. I'm like, what would Thor do right now? And
Right.
knowing, I've written down who Thor is. I've written down the characteristics that I desire to have, and it's all in love. So when you think, okay, what would Thor do right now? You can envision what he would do, and then you got to step into that. Be careful what you ask for, because you just might get it. When you get the chance, you got to step into it. And I stepped into inviting my ex into my apartment was something that my caregiver at the time challenged me to do. And she goes, you should invite Nellie. And I go, fuck no, right away. And then I had to pause and step back and say, okay, what would that mean to invite her in? It was freaking scary. But then I went out and she was in the car and I said, would you like to come in? Man, she jumped at the opportunity. She's like, yeah, I would love that. And then we all came in and we stood right over here and we just all laughed. And I hadn't experienced that for a long time.
Oh my God.
And it just opened the doors. It really did. It was stepping over that bridge that you didn't think you could cross, crossing the river of change in a way that was a raging river at one point, and by the time I crossed it, it's just a little brook. It's a little stream right now. It's not crossing a river of change. It's a brook. It's a stream, because I've overcome it.
Great metaphor.
Jim,
Yes.
I just want to ask you, I don't even know how to ask this question, but everything you said, it's just like what happened in my life now. It's so interesting, but I'm not quite there yet. But anyway, so same thing. Robby knows I'm in the process of divorce, and but now it's coming down, and as in my mind, I always felt like the whole time, whatever how difficult it was for me, but the whole time I felt like, how could they be so difficult just for me and him can just give each other a hug. How could that be so? It's ridiculous. We're too human. We just couldn't do it. Even I do this work for so long, I just couldn't do it. It's ridiculous. And I think I always have an image of that. And it's not like who did what terrible thing to each one, and we just can't make that step just to there. It's so silly at the same time almost.
Yeah.
I still couldn't really do it because I felt like if I give the gesture and he will refuse, so I never ask. But at the same time I felt this is so fucking silly. I just can't. I like we're like fucking 4 years old, but one day that's gonna to change, but I still couldn't really do it. But I just when the day comes I tell you guys, but just so fucking stupid.
You got to cross the river, and it is scary. And for me, it was like I was so mad at things that had happened. It wasn't until I went through that freedom activation, and the last line of the freedom activation I didn't think I'd ever say was, you go through and you write down things that have happened in your life, and you just write down I had pages of stuff that have happened. And then you say, I forgive myself, I love myself, and it really just doesn't matter. And to say it just doesn't matter how somebody has treated me, I didn't think I'd ever say it. But what I realized in that process is that it really doesn't matter. It truly doesn't matter in my life. That the way those things happen, it's the past, it's gone, it's over with. The only time it survives is if I think about it and I let it survive. And that's a huge change to realize that and to step into that.
Yeah. Wow.
Or that's so along the lines of I shocked my lawyer because I was in that accident in 2018. It finally came to fruition in 2021. And at the end of the final arbitration, he's all, well, I hope it's good. And he goes, well, I mean, for you, but I don't want to build your hopes up. And he's all stammering over himself. And I go, it's going to be good. And then he really got wigged out. And I go, no, hear me out. If it's good in their favor, it's good. And if it's good in my favor, which I already knew it was, and it did, it's good. I go, it's the attachment that we give to it. It is neither good nor bad. It just is how it fell. And it's the association we attach to it. And it's like getting yelled at when somebody's smiling at you in a language you don't understand. It sounds beautiful. You don't know they just told you to go fuck yourself 8 ways to Sunday.
Yeah.
And because you don't know, you don't attach to it. And it's really so simple that it's hard.
And that
gave that lawyer a brain fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, he was like, I wish all my clients were like you. I'm like, it is what it is.
I would have been like, high five.
I mean, that's powerful to be able to do that, Sheila. To be able to
It's
be in that
taken me a
position and
long
be able,
time.
I mean, you took your power in that.
Yes. And that's what I took. We'll have a whole night to unpack that in Cape Cod. But it took me a long time to get here because I was set down a destiny that was not positive. There was a lot that I chose to look the other way. And I'm like, hold up here. But
Yeah. And it takes a lot to overcome yourself when you're not used to stepping into tough situations like that. I hate confrontation myself. Don't like it at all. And that's what divorce is.
Yeah.
It can be. And it was too much for us, but I just got to step into it.
You guys,
I really, that's a big one to learn. There is no good or bad. That's a really big one, Sheila.
and Jim, you gave her such a beautiful gift. You know that, right?
I do, yes.
Really have received that because that's
Yeah.
pretty powerful. Because she knows how much you probably didn't want her there before. And for you to cross that very big river that turned into a stream, it was as powerful for her as it was for you, which makes it even more powerful for you because that's just is.
And it was powerful for my daughters, just to know that we did that. And for them to be in the house, while they saw mom and dad together again, that hadn't happened forever, and we all stood around, we laughed about things, and I handled things in ways that I didn't before. I said things that I wouldn't have said before, and I didn't worry about it. I started saying to myself, because I would always worry about the words I said and how I said it. I would think ahead of time, I've got to do this, got to do that. And finally, I started saying the right words are going to come to me at the right time in the right way. And then don't stop thinking about it. I already know what I need to say. It's already in me. Just don't think about it. And that's what's happened. It's like when something comes up, I just say what I already know is in me. And it's just the right thing to do.
So much so. You're amazing. We love you, Thor.
Thank you. I love you too. Nice, Arsa.
That was nice. Cosette, just saw your hand raised. Or thank you for waiting.
I was just going to reiterate, on Sheila, what Sheila said, what you said so beautifully and eloquently, but it's also like when we're being true to ourselves and we're being the best people and we're coming from love, you can't predict somebody else's reaction. So like Mung, she wants to one day, hug her ex or whatever, but it's on that other person how they react. Because if you're coming from a true place, that's what matters. And rejection does come along with that. And that's the hard part. But that's them, not you. And you can't personalize it because they're just not in a place yet to receive or to give. Yeah. And so you just have to be true to yourself, Yeah.
And that's, I hear,
and the best person you can be,
Yeah. And when you're true to Thor, true to the best person you can be, then you know that good things are happening because you're doing it. Thor operates from his heart, period. So when I operate as Thor, I'm operating from my heart.
Right. Right.
Thank you for that, Cosette. Arsa.
What up again? So
What up?
woo! Let's fucking go. um so what Jim, as you said about, first of all, it's so incredible the dad you are. You are just so remarkable and extraordinary, like and just a rare gem. And yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
And of course. And just you inspired me to share. So I also do like landmark courses as well, and I was doing their self-expression and leadership program. So we get to get coached by the people leading the program as well. So I called one of them and I got vulnerable. I said, "Hey, listen, Kelsey, I'm not doing so well being able to let go of my ex. I'm just not being able to. And I would really like to, because I love myself enough to move on and let myself have a loving, affectionate relationship that I do deserve. And I just want to be able to move on." And she was awesome. She coached me through what to say. And I had it that I was the good guy, but she was this bad guy who broke my heart, as I mentioned before. And what I didn't realize was, in a way, I was the one being the jerk. She said she was not ready for a relationship. And I made meanings in my head, like there's something she's not telling me. And in other words, I wasn't taking no for an answer. And I was so focused on she didn't choose me and just making her a bad guy for that, that what I didn't see was, from my experience, it took me years to finally own up to that I'm gay. And I've felt the romantic feelings about women for a very long time. And I just owned up to it. And I was going back and forth between opening up. It was scary for me. So that's when I was able to put myself in her shoes. And I was like, just because she's been out longer than I have and she's dated, it doesn't mean that it's not scary for her. Because what was common between her and I is neither her nor I can tell our moms that we're in a relationship or we're dating. Like she identifies as asexual, but her mom accepts her being gay, but she doesn't accept that she's asexual. And she doesn't tell her mom that she dates other people. So that's when it's probably scary for her too. And just I texted her letting her know that hey, listen, I respect your no, and I'm not sure what it is that I do want between us right now, but all I know is I'm committed, that there's some love and healing between us. Wherever you stand with that is fine by me as well. And I just completed things with her.
Good for you. That's a good challenge. A big way to step through that. That's huge. It's that realization, that self-realization, which is huge.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you for sharing, Arsa.
Yeah.
Of course.
Beautifully vulnerable, love. Very beautiful.
Thank you.
Relationships are tough, and getting out of them and feeling like you messed something up, or it's I've realized my side of the street a lot more through this as well, and my side of the road, and feeling what she's gone through as well, more than I did right afterwards.
Yeah. You can't attach what you want the reality to be to the reality.
Right.
True.
The most dangerous things we do is tell ourselves stories.
Totally. Yeah.
Oh, I love how that this. Thanks for saying that, Arsa, because that just tied into everything that we just kind of talked about for the last 10 minutes.
Of course.
Yeah. Thanks.
It's also about perception. It's our own perceptions, and whatever our perception is, it's like a thought. Just because you have a thought doesn't mean it's true. And the perception at the time is what the belief is. And then when you look at it like you did, you know, switching it over and sort of seeing the other side of it or the other person's view, then your perception changes.
Yep.
Yeah, and you know, that doesn't cost anything to do.
Right.
That's, you know, we could say it's simple, but it's not simple. But once it happens, you're like, oh, that's so much better. That's so much more freeing.
Vibration. Alexandra just said, we don't see, just quote unquote, we don't see things as they are, we see them as we are. And Anis Neen, anybody know Anais Neen? Love, and then this is from her direct, love us, all caps. Thank you very much for this lovely evening.
Thank you.
Alexandra, you are so great.
Leela, did you have a question?
You know, it wasn't a question. I
Oh,
just
Leela,
was,
yeah, wait, yeah, sorry about that. You had your hand up. And it
oh,
went-
it's okay. I put it down
I just put it down. You can't do that. I'll forget.
because Arsa like she.
Oh, you keep it up. You keep it up until we take it down. Thanks for saying that, Jim, because I was like, yeah, I thought there was a hand. I was like, where'd that go?
I don't know. I after Arsa spoke, I was like, oh, that was so beautiful. I don't even want to talk. But,
I'm glad you're talking and you did not listen to that voice.
oh, thank you. Well, that did happen. What I was going to say was I was going to speak to what Cosette said, you know, about Meng, you know, and what you say and what you do, if it's coming from your heart, is really on the other person. It's up to the other person what they do, and you can't, you don't have control. But and I think when I watched this Netflix thing that Jim told me about, what everybody about vulnerability by The Call to Courage by Brene Brown, I watched it last night, and it was really, really good. If you guys haven't seen it, she's hysterical for one thing, but her content is profound. But one of the things she talked about that was, it really, I was like, wow. She said, when you are vulnerable, you know, and you speak, basically she's saying that you're speaking your truth and you're putting yourself out there, you're a doer, you're in the arena, right?
Yeah.
You're a person that's doing something, you're creating, you're making it happen, you're putting it out there. And she said, when you do that, you will fail, you know, you're going to get bloody. You're going to get knocked down. She said, but you could either be in that arena and be doing something, or you could just be sitting in the cheap seats watching, you know, giving advice to people. And don't listen to those people if they tell you something about what you're doing, if they're in the cheap seats. Oh, God, I love this lady.
Yeah.
So it's like really pick and choose who you're listening to, first of all, right? When you're in the middle of hashing it out with yourself or whatever your work is, but also just to know, just what you said, Cosette, you know, if somebody's going to do something or say something and it's not what you want to hear or feel, it's what they're doing, right? And it's not you. You're still, you know, speaking who you are. And I think that's when you're vulnerable like that, then you give the other person an opportunity to see who you are, and then they can be vulnerable and speak who they are. But if you never did that, then that it make it harder for them, right? So I don't know, it's a risk, but what else are you going to do? Because God, who the hell wants to be in the cheap seats, right? Not me. I want to be in the arena, right?
In this circle.
Punching it out.
Yeah.
I was in the cheap seats for a long time, and after the divorce, that's my favorite quote: "Is the man in the arena?" You know, from Teddy Roosevelt. And
yes,
I would look at my relationships. I'm like, I'm in the arena right now, and their advice is not coming from the matrix. It's coming from a different place, and so it doesn't mean what they think it means. Or I'm not going to take it anymore as if it means that. Because I know the changes I'm making and they don't know that. And there's no way to show them that.
Exactly.
Yeah. And how are you going to change? How are you going to evolve in your life if you're not in the arena, right?
Right.
You can't.
Life is a case by case situation. It's nice that people want to give advice sometimes, but that's not what it's talking about. But it's nice that, like, divorce is a broad stroke thing. Nobody really knows what you go through, but it's nice that people, you know, I know what you're going through. You don't know what I'm going through. We all go through different things. But it's nice that you think that you're there for me. Just be there and hear, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
Such-
such,
Go ahead, Sheila.
the
You
more
go.
a much more kinder thing is I so empathize and hold compassion for what you're going through. When somebody's like, "Oh, I know what you're going through," it's
Thinking about them.
so energetically negative. It's
Yeah.
disrespectful.
Nails on a chalkboard, right?
But it's also from
Yes.
misguided. You know, some people are narcissistic and are that way. They need to have the attention, but other are just like they think that's what you want to hear. It's like
Patronizing.
yeah. It's like you don't realize. It's like you have no idea what I'm going through. What do you mean? I'm like, I haven't seen you in 10 years. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Like something I wish people would tell me when my dad passed away. Because people, I grew up in a culture again where people love giving advice, the saying what we should do. And I had people tell me I need to stay strong. And I'm like, I just lost my dad. It's okay for me to not be strong right now. And
Good for you for knowing that. Good on you.
I mean, I feel like correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like I feel like a nicer thing to say. Like and I'm a culprit. I am one of the culprits who would go like I know what you're going through, but not really. It's nicer to say, I can't imagine what you're going through. This is, you know what you're going through, but I just want you to know I'm here for you. Even though I have no idea what to say, I'm here for you.
Yes,
that's beautiful. And about cheap seats, my friends and I, we were about to fight for Taylor Swift tickets, and I'm like, I don't believe in fighting for those tickets. I believe in experiencing her in the quantum up front in the stage where she can grab our hand.
There you go. There you go. Look at.
And I'm so grateful for Jim for calling Leela out, because Leela, that was such a beautiful gem that you shared with us. Don't you ever hold out on us again. You keep that hand raised, lady.
Just
Don't
took the
ever.
words out of my mouth. The words out of my mouth.
Well, then if me and Arce have our hands up, you better pick me first. That's all I have to say.
Well,
Do it in order. It's in
trust
order.
yourself.
Do
You
it
love
in
trust
order.
yourself.
They make it easy. No, that was everybody's dropping gems of conversation. It's like there's somebody drops something and then, all right, next conversation, drop it.
Yep.
It's a shame we don't feed off of each other and really just keep the energy rolling.
Yeah, I know.
We need to work on that a little.
Yeah, we get to know each other a little bit more. It'll happen.
Pick it up a little, guys. No, I know what you're going through, but Jesus.
I know what you're going through. It's not that big of a deal, so knock it off, okay?
Oh my God, yes.
This is so good.
It's like,
I know
just
you're
shut
going through
up.
a thing, but my thing, no. Love it when they do that.
Well, Jim, this is what I love. What's so cool. It all started where these calls are like kind of like formulating into something of what they are. Like Kathy's call, Kathy had the platform for like an hour, and then it formulated into what just happened. You know, like the 10-minute synopsis of it is what just happened. But it's like we're given this platform, and these platforms are creating discussion, and energy within our bubble, and it's happened again. Like it happened again. Like Jim, you were done. It's 9:55. We've been talking about nothing for an hour and 15 minutes. They're not nothing, everything. You know,
Everything.
I was gonna say, Robbie, speak for yourself. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
everybody else has
But
some
you know
eloquent
what I
shit
mean?
to drop.
Be in the now thing. Now thing. You've been talking about now thing for the last hour and a half.
There you go. Now
Yeah.
things.
Ooh, I
That's
like
good.
that.
Yeah.
And-
It's just, sorry, Jim. You go.
You know what's really cool about that, what you just said, is that I talked about validation, and in this community, people are listening. That was a big thing in life. In 3D world, I think Sheila just said, it's like, well, yeah, what happened to you is bad, but here's what happened to me too. I know what that's like. And it's like, well, you didn't hear a thing I said. And the fact that we're all talking for over an hour about what I just said is a beautiful realization of what this group is all about. It's about listening and loving. And that's growth for everybody.
And not misinterpreting, which is
No.
listening. which is listening, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Do we listen to hear or are we listening to respond? That is one of
Bingo.
Yeah.
yes.
Bingo. Yep.
You know, the
That's the
people that
difference.
you can see it in their face that as soon as you say one sentence, they already have the response. So they don't hear another thing that you say.
Oh,
They're just
right.
waiting for their chance to respond.
And by the way, to keep it the love is going to cure all that too, by the way. But this platform is so great. This is what this Sunday thing is so great about, because it gives us this platform. We're a little more awake, even though we got to wake up in like 5 hours. But right now we're awake.
Not me.
But yeah, no, it gives a platform for all of us to kind of just spill the beans of thought and experience within the week.
Thank you for putting it together, Robbie.
Yes.
Thank you.
Very welcome. Very welcome. It's real easy. It's really not hard at all. I'm just doing what you guys are doing. It's really great.
I'm sorry. Did you not accept that very well?
No, I said thank you.
Thank you. No, that's good.
But actually, shoot, I did not accept that very well. Actually, you're right.
Uh-huh.
I just said that.
You said thank you. You said
Thank you very much. I appreciate the shit out of it.
I love it.
Yeah, you discredited
Go
yourself. And
Sheila.
said thank you. It was no big deal.
I love Sheila so much. You're like
Yep.
version of me.
Because did you see, and Jim, you did a beautiful job of receiving this evening.
Yes.
yes.
You
I
did.
made a point of it.
You did a
made a point of
great
it, yeah.
job.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
You just did it again. You did it again.
Hey, thank you.
Again.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Take that.
Oh my
Take
gosh.
that.
You know, it is, and it's amazing to me that a year ago I wouldn't have been able to put this together the way I just did tonight. You know, I didn't even think about it until yesterday, and then I just pretty much wrote down all my notes in less than an hour.
Yep.
I used to think about things and second guess it. I just wrote. It just spilled out of me. And then today I didn't worry about it. I just like, oh, that would be good to say that. I moved a couple things around. I said this before that, but I didn't ever worry
That's
about
freedom.
Isn't that kind of like
Not
letting
just
your
freedom.
ego go?
Yeah.
Yes.
Letting your ego go?
Oh, winner, chicken dinner cassette. That's beautiful.
Wait, say that again, Cassette. That's ego.
You're letting your ego go.
Go.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the ego that.
And you know, I will say that I'm letting my ego go with love. I have fought my ego for a long time. I didn't understand it. I thought that my ego was something bad. There's nothing bad about ego. Ego has gotten me where I am right now. Ego is a survival mechanism.
We need ego.
We need ego. I've just been loving my ego instead of fighting it. And in that,
embrace that.
freedom. Yeah, in that comes freedom for sure.
Yeah.
And you trusted yourself.
Yes.
You totally trusted yourself that you would deliver the way you wanted to deliver. And
Yeah,
you
I did. I did a Dr. Joe generating flow right before this, and all I did was I just envisioned what it's going to feel like afterwards. What it feels like to say what I want to say, and then that's exactly what's happening.
And it came from your heart, which was very obvious.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah.
And that's big. I was just going to say that, you know, the word authentic has been very valuable to me. I think being authentic is one of the best things a person can be. And I knew that I wasn't that for so long. I knew I wasn't that. And so it's nice to be in a place where I do feel that.
Yeah, I think that going along with what you're saying, this group in groups like this, you know, where you can practice, if for lack of a better word, you know, and build up that confidence, you know, that you could, you know, I can say what I want to say and it gets heard, right? I think it's such a blessing, you know, and isn't that's what love is, right? That's what love is, right? You accept people and you love what they're doing, and I don't know, that's just what it's all about. And it doesn't happen that much, you know. It's really nice when it, you know, that we're creating that.
Getting to practice while the game's going on, and you know that's the difference. It's not like we're practicing the prep; we're practicing while it's happening.
Yeah,
good point.
Yeah, very good point.
But what I found in comparison to, you know, not that anything's a comparison, but in comparison to other groups, it's a pure, altruistic, authentic transparent love.
Unconditional.
And those three together are so powerful.
Yes.
What are they again? Altruistic, transparent,
Altruistic, authentic, transparent. When you put those three together, you have, and I actually wrote that in a
really
note to
pretty.
Joe, because it's what when he steps on stage, when he walks down that aisle, and for this group to embody and emulate that from our hearts truly shows what he has kicked off, that is moved to us, and that we are building amongst each other. And just by other people being in our spheres, they're feeling it, and we are creating that ripple effect.
Yeah.
So I'm so grateful for each and every one of you.
Likewise.
Ditto.
Those sunglasses on, you look ultralistic. I just want to.
Well, no, they're my red light blockers, so they keep my circadian rhythm.
Oh, that's what I don't have on. Next time.
Yes.
Oh, by the way,
I saw Pat's earlier, and I was like, "Oh shit, I gotta go!" And I ran and went and got
Yes. I'm not going to be up all night.
Leela and
Okay.
Sheila, I love it. Leela, by the way, you're making, just because you say it, you called yourself out on it. You're making a new debut on the robe. Usually it's a blue robe. Now you got the black one.
It's not a robe, Robbie. It's a sweater.
I know. I was like, I
took the robe off. I took the robe off to put the sweater on, so I wouldn't be wearing a robe.
Well,
and then you call it a robe. Okay.
Nice try, Robbie. That was a good try. Good effort.
Guys.
all right. So how about those?
You look beautiful.
bears?
What?
How about the what?
I don't know. I was like, how about those? And I'm not a sports chick, so I'm like, bears? I don't know.
How about those 49ers?
How about the
Yes.
Yep. How about the
There we
Broncos?
go. You must be in California.
Yeah.
Sheila, you rock from Hmong with a big star.
Thank you, Mom.
So great.
No, I said, Sheila, you're a rock star.
Oh, rock
That's
star.
what I said.
Oh, there you go, rock star. There you go.
Thank you. Thank you. That's like one of the most beautiful compliments. Thank you. I was
truly are.
actually in training in San Diego, and somebody's like, "You've got movie star energy." So that's like right there with the rock star. I was like, "Thank you."
You went to Rockstar training in San Diego?
I did NLP.
I didn't know they had
training in
Rockstar
San
training.
Diego, but
That's
yeah.
really cool.
Thank you. And then somebody else told me, they're like, when I see you, I feel like it's Christmas. You just make me so happy. I was like, now that one, I was like, I think that's the best compliment I've ever got. Like, I was literally like, Christmas. Oh my God, that's my favorite. You know, I like turned into Elf from, the movie Elf. And like, Smiley's my favorite,
Awesome.
Oh my gosh. I have to go, you guys. This is too good.
You are the best. Thank
We'll
you.
do it again in a few hours.
Yeah. See you and I'll wear my robe so you'll recognize me.
Don't let my bad eyes ruin your night. You look beautiful. And you're like this small right now on my screen. I have like the Brady Bunch thing going on my screen.
Are you on a phone?
No, I got like the 30 faces.
Yeah. Okay.
Put them all in thumb things instead of big.
Yeah.
Okay. I have
That's the shovel there, Robbie. He's digging out.
I don't know. But anyway, good night, everyone. I love you.
Good night.
See you in the morning.
Thank you so much, Layla.
Bye.
Sweet dreams. Hey, before I forget, the one thing I want to keep going to is that Jim keeps saying how he wouldn't have done this a year ago, and I love how Kathy was saying she wouldn't have done it a week prior. I just love it's just the growth and we're paying attention to it. It's just something I just wanted to make sure I said, even though it didn't fit right there. I just didn't want to forget to say that.
It is definitely growth. Yeah, it is definitely growth. And yeah, Kathy, it was beautiful to hear your share.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Jim. And same for yours.
Thank you. This is a great platform. It's just it is practice, and it's nice to have a place to comfortably practice.
I shared my my talk with a friend of mine, and one of the first things she said to me was, "So did you write everything down?" And I said, "The only things I wrote down were the names of the 3 meditation names, because I didn't know if I remember those." So you didn't write anything down. I said, "No." She said, "So you just knew exactly what to say because it really flowed." And I said, "You know what?" I said, "I never even thought, it never even dawned on me to write it down." I said, "Because I was just telling my story and it was coming from my heart, and and I just winged it, which is so not like me." I mean, I usually write things down. I'm a list person. And for some reason with this, I was just like, I'm just doing it. And
That's trust right there, baby. That's trust.
yeah, exactly.
And trusting that you know
Exactly.
what you talk about. See, that
It
way to follow
was-
up my whole thing is that you're showing how much you trusted yourself when you talked. And that's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
You'll come with that energy right now. I'm never gonna go to bed now.
Yeah.
I know.
Baby, yeah.
I know.
Oh man.
It'll be like, so what? It's 5 o'clock. So what?
Whatever. It's 11:11. Who cares?
Yeah. Right.
So great. We're all together. We're all growing the same way. We're all doing the same stuff for the first time ever. Percentage wise, we're building and we're growing. We're all doing the same thing in our own way.
Mhm.
Contradicted everything I just said about them, but in a different way. So, all right, it's 11:11. I guess we could try to close it out now. And there was 11 people.
Cool.
Now there's only
Those numbers.
Love the synchronicities.
Is that Russ? Is that Ruslan? Is that Russ from Miami? If you can't talk, all good. Just good to see you, brother. If that is Russ, I could be wrong though.
Ruslan, Ruslan.
Yes, I could be wrong, but anyway, thanks for joining, Ruslan. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Good to see you, man. That's some Niagara, Nashville, big heart love, man.
Cool.
Big heart love. No, all good, man. Yep, lots of love from Ruslan.
Thanks for being here.
So, Jim, I think if you want to close it out again with the quote, because that was like an hour ago. If not, all good.
I think I'll let all the quotes that I threw out there, I'll let those stand on their own tonight.
I think that was the perfect quote and way to end it. Way to go, man. Way to go.
Powerful.
Yeah, this has been powerful, you guys. It's been very nice. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, as always, for the conversation and chiming in and just giving your energy. Thank you, Dr. Joe, for dedicating your life to this. If it wasn't for Dr. Joe, we wouldn't know each other. And Dr. Joe, you're the fucking man.
I will close it out with a Dr. Joe quote of saying that I'm very thankful that I've taken the emotional quotient out of my memories so that they have become wisdom, so that I could share those tonight as wisdom, not emotion. Yeah. And that has been very powerful for me, because that's always been my favorite quote of his. And there was a time I would quote that. I'm like, I don't know what that feels like to think of my past and not be in those emotions. And so I'm really thankful that I've taken the emotional quotient out of my memories.
Baptist verse snaps.
And to add to that, wisdom is also knowledge with experience. So what you're doing is you're taking the bad out and you're keeping the good in, but you're utilizing your knowledge and creating wisdom in the right way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Powerful.
You're the man, Jim.
That was a good way to close that out, right? That was a good way.
Jim of knowledge. Drop a Jim.
He's the god of thunder.
God of thunder, baby.
We're dropping the hammer.
Dropping gems, baby. Yeah. So we don't do this because we have to. We do this because we want to. Oh, sorry. We don't do this because we have to. We do this because we want to, because we know we have to. Love you guys. Jim, thank you again.
Thank you, Robby. Thank you, guys. Love you all.
Much love.
Love you all.
Good
night.
Bye, guys.
Good night. Sweet
Drop a
dreams.
gem. Drop a gem.